I have always loved watching movies about friendship more than I like watching movies about romance. And these are five of the many, many that I've seen and will continue to see. So far, these are the five that I will recommend. One is Going to Heaven. This is actually a movie from United Arab Emirates, and it stars two children. Actually, in Hollywood, they don't like doing movies that stars children because they said they don't make money. But this movie wouldn't have worked either way. So it's about a story of a boy who lost his mother, was left to his father, and then he remarried, and the stepmother wasn't so nice to him. So he decided he was going to search for his grandmother, and his friend accompanied him. So it's actually the lessons that they learned in the journey that made the movie so powerful. And the most powerful message is how everything will always be temporary, and that they need to learn, and that the only thing that will remain permanent is the lessons that they should learn from the situations that they encounter, so that when something happens to them, when an event happens to them, they shouldn't allow that event to dictate who they are. They should learn from that event in the way that will benefit them, because that's the only thing that's going to stick. The rest will perish, will disappear, they will forget. But the lessons that they will learn will remain. And so it is your responsibility to yourself to learn the right lesson. Next is Baguettes. This is actually a Philippine movie. It's about five guys who are friends in high school, and they have their own stories. They have stories about friendship, in their family, romance, etc. Problems about their money and stuff like that. And what's great about the movie is how it ended. It was able to deliver the message of having the strongest unit of support. Like, eventually, especially if you're friends in high school, eventually people are gonna go off and be busy with their careers, they're going to get married, they're going to have some fallouts with their families, all of these problems will happen that will change them, will change their life. But for as long as you have this unit, the family that you chose to be a member of, you will be fine, because you know that you will always have that unit you can come back to. This is home. This is a home that you choose, and all you need to do is continue choosing it, and it will always be there for you. Next is Three Idiots. It's a movie from India, one of my favorite ever. And it's a story of three misfits that came to this school, and they are misfits, they don't belong there. But it's such a funny movie. And Amir Khan is actually, his storyline is my favorite, because he doesn't deal with problems in the most linear of fashion, in the most conventional of fashion. He felt like he didn't belong, and everyone else also felt like he didn't belong there, because he would always answer a question in the wrong way, only for him to prove it in the end that he actually answered the right way, that was the right answer. It was everybody else was wrong. But when everyone else is telling you you're wrong, it's so hard to continue believing in yourself. But he did. He was that confident about himself. And that's the strongest message of the movie. All they really had, all these three idiots was each other, and they were okay with it, even when the entire school was against them. They were okay with it because they had each other. It's okay if other people feel or say that you're wrong. That's okay, for as long as you know that you're right, and that you have other people who may not necessarily think that you're right, but will respect and believe in you the same way. That's really all you need. Next is 20. It's a movie from South Korea, pretty recent, and I actually watched it because of Juno of 2 p.m. I'm a huge fan of him, and so I watched it. And Kang Han, and turns out became one of the best movies I've ever seen. It's so funny. And it's about the story of three friends. They became friends, and through thick and thin, they've stuck through that friendship. They've sort of threaded through different directions. So they started in the same place, and then they've journeyed through different directions. And in that journey, time came when they fell apart, they lost touch, they fought, but in the end, they still came back to it with each other. This movie proved the impeccable timing of comedic timing of Juno and Kang Han. Kim Woo Bin is the other one, and they're such a perfect combination. You watch it. The next is Seven Samurai, and this is probably an unpopular choice for a friendship movie, but it is actually a movie about a group of people, and this is the first of its kind. I do believe this is the very first movie of this kind, basically where a group of people were pulled together to fulfill a mission. So other movies came after that, Magnificent Seven, many others, even superhero movies where different people were pulled together to fulfill a different mission. Here it's the Seven Samurai that people didn't actually like, but they felt they needed them because they needed to fight this other bandits, and so they had no choice but to employ the Seven Samurai. And it's one of the things that stuck to me is the greatness of Kurosawa as a filmmaker. He didn't like cutting. He would always follow scenes as they progressed. And in following that scene, he was able to deliver so many messages and portray so many aspects of the characters and of the events because he was following it. One of the best scenes that stuck to me was when, I think it was like shot from up the mountain, and then he swept through the hill going down as he showed the fighting progressing. And through that, you can see the different characters, you can see how uneven the fight is, how brutal the fighting is. You can see the different dimensions of people trying to fight and defend other people as they fight off their own enemy. It's just life-changing as a film lover. He also was able to deliver a very strong message in terms of human nature, because the community don't like the samurais. The samurais knew they were not liked, but they decided to go on and accept the mission. Why? Because that's their nature. This is the role that they're supposed to play. This is what they are meant to do, and so they are going to do it. And many of us actually miss that we will not always like what we're going to be doing, but we need to do it because this is the role that we are supposed to play in the bigger picture. And then there's a lot more layers into that. I will actually be discussing it in another post because it's going to be one of the 100 greatest Asian movies of all time. But it provides a different bond between friends. While 20, in the movie 20, they're actually bonded by circumstance because they grew up together because of the girl that they all liked. Baguettes were also the same. They've been friends for a long time. They shared similar interests in music and in movies. In Going to Heaven, they're journeying together. Also, they grew up together as friends. In Three Idiots, they were forced together in this one community. Seven Samurai they're bonded by a principle, by a belief, and by a certain set of values that they hold true to death. And that's what kept them going. That's what allowed them to understand each other and to be able to fulfill what they were set out to do. So 5 movies about friendship: Going to Heaven, Baguettes, Three Idiots, 20, and Seven Samurai. Watch them. If you don't know how to watch them, let me know. I got you.